Good morning, Healing Spot community. Today we're doing a Facebook Live video. I'm going to be interviewing Ronelle Wood, author of Touching Light, How to Free Your Fiber-Optic Fascia. So I'm just waiting for her to join us here, and she should be on just shortly. I'm really excited to be interviewing Ronelle, and we'll talk a little bit about what she does, but she's going to be talking about making a living being pushy and manipulative. So we're gonna find out what she does. Excuse me. All right, so I'm just waiting for Ronelle so I can join her. And it looks like Mary Ann has joined us. Hi there. So while I'm waiting for Ronelle to pop in here, I know she's there, it's just Facebook, you know, doesn't always work the way you want. So Ronelle Wood is a licensed massage therapist, a myofascial release specialist. She has a Master's of Science degree in speech pathology, and she's the author of Touching Light, like I just showed, How to Free Your Fiber-Optic Fascia. So let's see here. I'm gonna see. Okay. Good morning. Good to see you, Mary Ann. At least your profile. I can't actually see you, but I know you're there. So I'm going to continue to read her Ronelle's bio. So this fascia fanatic discovered her area of genius from first-hand experience of pain and injury. In her pursuit of finding what works, Ronelle sifted and sorted through many modalities until discovering myofascial release. It provided the long-term solution she has been seeking, and she has been paying it forward ever since. With a thriving full-time practice in Ojai, California, Ronelle enjoys a front row seat to transformation in the lives of her clientele every day. She's going to share her unique perspective with us, so welcome to our light-hearted exploration into the fiber-optic fishnet called fascia. Hi, Megan. All right, so I'm just waiting for Ronelle to join me, and I wonder if I can actually find her and invite her. Hold on a second. I think it's just an issue with her being in the group and then refreshing to see that I'm actually live. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. I know where you guys are headed, so hopefully you got there okay. Megan. Sometimes I have technical issues with either the internet or connecting the two of us together. So technology is great when it works. She says, I don't see you live. Okay, let me see if I can get her. Okay, I think I see you, Ronelle. So, hi, good morning, Heidi. Bring her on camera. Okay, Ronelle says she sees me. Yay. All right, I just invited you, so it's just saying adding. So we'll see. Good morning, Heidi. Morning, Heather. Okay, so I'm just waiting for Ronelle to actually connect here. It's still trying to add her, so it could be an issue with my internet. Who knows? Or the cell phone. So I actually met Ronelle. I had the pleasure of meeting her, I don't know, it's probably been about a year ago, maybe a little bit more. She was out in Boulder, Colorado teaching a class. Good morning, Anne. She was teaching a class, and I unfortunately missed the class. I didn't end up signing up, but I got, the next day she went to the Myofascial Release study group that friends of mine and fellow therapists host in Longmont, Colorado. It's still trying to add you, Ronelle. And so I got to meet her in person. All right. Ronelle, you are on your phone, right? I'm going to try to add you again. Oh, this is frustrating. Okay. So Ronelle, you have to be on your phone, and it has to be the vertical way, but I I see that you're here, but it's not letting me add you. See? Because I can't invite you again. So, frustrated. Okay, it says it's connecting now. Ah, there you are. Hallelujah.
Technology takes a while sometimes.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, so I'm so happy to see your face now.
As I am happy to see yours.
All right, I'm going to actually start kind of over because when I'm going to repost this to YouTube, and then this will be a little cleaner. Okay, so I'm just going to introduce. I have Ronelle Wood here. She's a licensed massage therapist, a myofascial release specialist. She has a master's of science degree in speech pathology and is the author of Touching Light: How to Free Your Fiber-Optic Fascia. This fascia fanatic discovered her area of genius from firsthand experience of pain and injury. In her pursuit of finding what works, Ronelle sifted and sorted through many modalities until discovering myofascial release. It provided the long-term solution she had been seeking, and she has been paying it forward ever since. With a thriving full-time practice in Ojai, California, Ronelle enjoys a front row seat to transformation in the lives of her clientele every day. She's going to share her unique perspective with us. So welcome to our lighthearted exploration into the fiber optic fishnet called fascia. So welcome. All right.
Thank you.
I'm happy to have you on here this morning. And from what I understand, I think you just got done teaching a class, right?
No, I will teach a class after this.
Ah, okay. All right. So we're going to try to keep this to around 15, 20 minutes. But tell us a little bit about yourself, Ronelle. Like, what led you to making a living being pushy and manipulative? So tell us a little bit of your background.
Well, it's a lot of fun to take negative terms like pushy and manipulative and flip them. We're doing that a lot lately in our lexicon, and we're owning words that used to have negative connotations. And the reason that I say that I'm pushy and manipulative is because I love touching people's bodies with myofascial release. And I had no idea that this incredible fishnet lurked beneath the surface of our skin, and that it could be such a much simpler solution to many medical problems than the Western model ever knew or could even tell us about. Now that I've found out, it is my soapbox mission to spread this word in the same way fascia spreads light to the whole world, so that when someone isn't feeling well, that we don't go in there with big, massive fixes like drugs and surgery. Instead, we try this very gentle approach to alleviate pressure from the system and see if those symptoms might resolve before we go to more drastic measures. And how can I have learned about this without having hurt myself pretty badly several times?
Yeah. Oh. Do you want to expand on that, or just kind of leave it at that? But knowing that you had several things that contributed to you seeking myofascial release eventually.
For brevity, I'll just say that I, like many others, in my pursuit of finding what works, tried drugs, tried surgery, tried physical therapy, tried heating, cooling, stretching, strengthening, and found that I still had pain. Massage was really great, so I went for a lot of massage, and it was while I was on the table that I told the therapist, God, you must have the best job in the world, because you know this minute you're making somebody feel better. And she said, well, you should just get your massage license. And I thought, you know, I had to defend my big education and all of the things in my life that were already stuck. But eventually her light got through to me, and I became a massage therapist, but found that that only lasted in terms of alleviating pain for like a day or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then I eventually, through other wonderful people, was led in the same way I'm led to everything, kind of kicking and screaming, thinking, I don't want to do that. I know more than they do. Until I finally gave in. And then that approach just changed my life and my practice because it gave me the physical relief that I was looking for. And then my patients began to report resolution of things I was kind of skeptical was even possible. But here I am 15, 16 years later, and I've seen it so much that I can now say, oh yeah, myofascial release will do that. It will help with your temporomandibular joint pain. It can help with fibromyalgia. It can help with arthritis, joint pain, high blood pressure, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, dot, 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 dot.
Yeah, a lot of diagnosis, right? Because I just did a little live video last week about that, how fascia is everywhere. So name a diagnosis, and it has that potential to make amazing gains and results. So absolutely.
If you just imagine that your system might just have a lot of pressure in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If we're being squeezed to death from the inside,
Yeah.
maybe if we alleviate the pressure first, a lot of those symptoms will go away, and we find they do.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us a little bit just about myofascial release in your words. Like, what is it? I do a lot of education on it, but I want to hear, how do you explain if I were to call you and say, can you help me with XYZ? Explain to me what you do. What is myofascial release?
The way that I explain myofascial release is by saying to people, there is an organ that we have now not only discovered in theory, but we can now look at with fiber optic surgical tools, magnifying the fascia 25 times, and we can see that it is an interlocking lace network, like a fishnet inside you, that exists just below the surface of the skin and extends deep into muscle and bone. It surrounds everything, connects everything. And when we look at the fascia magnified, we see that they are little hollow, transparent tubules that are full of saline, extracellular matrix, and it helps to conduct light, and you can see it in the video. The minute you see it, it changes your experience of the treatment. You can visualize what's happening, and you can also see that if you treat that delicate tissue roughly, it's not going to respond as well as if you go in very gently and invite letting go. So this distinguishes myofascial release from force therapies like chiropractic work, deep tissue, Rolfing massage.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this inspiration the other day with two columns. In the one column, we have the automatic response in your body, that fight or flight. And that is on an unconscious level. You don't control that, it just happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't give you choice. And the result is clench. In the other column, you have the parasympathetic nervous system, which is bringing into your conscious awareness where you're holding in tight. You do have choice, and the result of that is expansion. And the one system that's in charge of both
Fascia.
is the fascia.
Yep. And we need the flexibility between the two systems, right? If we get stuck, most of us get stuck in that fight or flight, and then that's where all that pressure and that clenching and the fear and all that stuff just keeps doing this all day long. So we have to have that ebb and flow and be able to go back and forth. Yeah.
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 When someone's on my table, I'll tell them, it isn't this way because you did anything wrong. In fact, tell your body how much you appreciate what it did to help you survive because it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And that's meant to be temporary. Let it know now that that moment is past, that fall you took, the car accident you had, the person that yelled at you that caused you to clench, it's not happening anymore. and we can let your body interrupt that pattern and soften and expand to your skin and beyond to take up all the space you were born to. No apologies. Let yourself go. It's easy to say.
Yeah,
It's
it
another
is.
thing to do.
The mind wants to, yeah, like you said, kick and scream and put up a fight, and it just sounds too easy. You know, like letting go. It sounds easy, but
Right.
it's not. But
We get rewarded a lot for having the right answer to stuff and using this to take tests and pass and get a grade. But we're smart people. If we could have thought ourselves to feeling better, we would have. And we can't even find the healing on that intellectual channel. It's only once we can step back from that, turn that down, and then dial up our body intelligence. It's brilliant. It knows where it wants to move and how it wants to let go.
Yeah, yeah. So there's this saying, and I know you've said it, and I've heard John say it a lot, John Barnes, who I know you studied under for your myofascial release, but you got to feel it in order to heal it, right? So that's part of it. Do you want to expand on that at all?
Yeah, in that column of unconscious clench, you don't even know it's going on. And many people have the experience of going into their therapist and saying to them, "Oh my God, how did you know?" When we lay into a place that's been holding and tight. Well, when we see them, we notice this. We can see that. And so when they lay down and we lay our hand there, we bring into their conscious awareness something that was a holding pattern on a background program, like an operating system on a computer. You either do something repetitively, typing, texting, driving, or somebody hit you there, or you fell on that, and your shoulder just says, "We were not ready for that, but we'll be ready from now on."
Yeah.
And so those patterns are just in there to protect you, but you can't do a thing about them if you don't know that they're there. So kind of our job is just to go in and trigger you all over your body. Say, how about here?
Yep.
How about there? And have you do the rest of it, really. It's kind of an easy job on our part to just hang out with stuff until someone becomes conscious of it, and then they take it over from there and they just go, oh, 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 and interrupt that pattern.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I've had people ask me in like the first session I work with people, and they'll say, "What am I supposed to do?" And I said, "All you need to do is feel what's going on in your body. It is that easy. All they need to do is feel it, and it'll come up to whatever they need to, conscious wise, right?"
Yeah, and what if our feelings are our guidance system on this planet? What if that thing that we've been told is weakness is actually the very thing that helps us navigate this world and move toward things that feel good and move away from things that don't feel good?
Yeah.
Wake up the feelings and feel them.
So let's see. I'm looking through my list of things. You've covered quite a bit. Some of the diagnosis that we had, that you typically see. So describe a typical myofascial release treatment. Like if I were to come in for the first session, what do you do?
Well, this gets into the area of how your thoughts affect your body. The thing that interests me most with someone are accidents and injuries. And they may describe one that caused the injury. I also want to know, how did you feel at the time that it happened? If you fell off a horse, did you get right back on it? If you tripped over the curb, did you look around to see if anybody was watching you? If you were skiing right in the middle of joy and ecstatic loveliness and you've tumbled, was it a shock and a surprise, and did you try to suck it up afterwards, or were people disappointed in you? All of those things contribute toward not only what happened in the moment when your body clenched to protect you for the purpose of slowing down circulation so you don't bleed too much, and numbing nerves so you don't feel it right away. But did you also have thoughts about the accident that were there in the moment and have persisted since? Like, oh, that was really stupid. Or I hope my mom doesn't find out. Or those guys are going to think I'm a wuss if I cry. And those patterns can persist uninterrupted infinitely. And people will say, well, that was 25 years ago. That couldn't possibly be bothering me now. Yeah, it can, because the pattern is there and it's protecting you. And sometimes people feel like, Ronelle, you are asking me to feel something that I have been trying my whole life not to feel. Why would I want to do that? Because the only way out is through. It's in your body, and not feeling it doesn't make it go away. It just puts it off till later. But the beauty is you don't have to analyze it when you feel it. If you're on the table and you have feelings come up of sorrow, rage, anger, sadness, usually all the don't need to know any of that. All you got to do is just feel it and let your body tell the truth about something it didn't get a chance to tell the truth about. And it may just go,
Yeah.
and it's not a big deal, and it can just blow through like a summer storm and be over in 10 minutes, something that you've been holding for 25 years.
Yeah. Do you get people that that you feel are they're holding back because they're afraid of what you're gonna think of them if they do that, or if they yell out, or they make a noise? You know, because it's been, you know, we have these society, you know, rules of how we're supposed to act and how we're supposed to be a good girl, or, you know, keep it together. Do you find that you have to reassure people that, hey, you know, don't let me stop you, kind of thing? Do you find that quite a bit?
Yes, indeed I do. And I've developed a spiel,
Okay.
a way of explaining that, where I say that from the time we're little kids and we're being told to please sit down, please be quiet, please hold still, we learn to hold in our body. And that holding is the job of the fascia, and it goes on that background program. So we're holding in our throat so we don't talk too loud, tell family secrets, say bad words, those kinds of things. We are holding in our arms so we don't punch people or steal other kids' toys. We're holding in our belly and our butt and our legs so we don't run screaming when we get scolded, and we don't kick people. And we need all of that. That's social appropriateness. And when we're little, we have a lot of opportunity to jump around and spaz out and move in goofy ways and discharge that holding. But the older and more dignified and appropriate we become, the less likely we are to allow that kind of movement in our body. And if we can find that pressure release valve in your body and let go of some of that holding, it can alleviate the clench inside. So I tell people, nothing you say, nothing you do, no noises you make or movements you have while you're in here are judged by me or taken personally, because I myself have had some wild letting go, and what I'm doing is paying it forward. And I don't feel like it's inappropriate or scary. It's actually beautiful to me. When I see a body letting go, I just have tremendous compassion. So when they hear me say that, some people, usually the younger they are, take me at my word and do. But it can take several sessions. And I think as MFR therapists, this is the one thing that we are trying to figure out how to communicate to a client. We don't want to give the impression we're upselling and just trying to get them in for a bunch of treatments and have them become dependent on us like some professions do. But if you get one treatment right after another, spaced close together, it's like stretching a rubber band. You get in there and you get this much movement and a day goes by, and then you go in and you get more movement and a day goes by. If you have a week or a month in between, that pattern goes right back into that the clench mode.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to get in there again and again and again to get to the point where you don't need us to interrupt that pattern for you. And this might segue into the self-care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tell us about that. I know you do the self-care classes. So what do you cover in your classes? What do you, or even with your clients, you know, what are you giving them to do at home so that they're not just 100% dependent on you?
Yeah, I don't want people to suffer at home because oftentimes they're lying in bed thinking if I can just get an appointment on an emergency basis tomorrow, then I'll be okay. And I want them to be able to interrupt a pattern on their own. I used to use the hollow 4-inch balls, um, but then this wonderful woman, Jill Miller, published The Role Model. It's a book about using yoga tune-up balls.
Huh.
And she is a fascia fanatic, just like Sue Hitzman with the melt method. And when there's a fascia conference, you'll see these people there because there's something about it. It's like cilantro. You love it or you hate it. When you get into loving fascia, you love it with a passion.
Oh, yeah.
And so she has made this book with different size balls. These are solid. They're not hollow. There's an alpha and a medium and a small ball. And she teaches people how to work various areas of the body with those yoga tune-up balls. So I feel like I'm not going to reinvent the wheel and make videos and write a book about that. I am going to use her genius and share that with as many people as I can. So in the self-treatment class, it's basically rolling around on the floor for 8 hours, if you can believe that. People come, and then at the end of an 8-hour self-myofascial release class where we're lying on the ball, letting the melt come in before squirming, nothing like foam rolling.
Yeah.
This is where you imagine that the ball absorbs into your body before you even begin to follow that natural pandiculation. Love that word. Teaching that word as much as I can. The squirm like cats and dogs do when they get up from a nap.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start knowing. There's a knowing that comes into your body like, oh, the ball feels really great there, but if I scoot over here just a millimeter, oh, that's it, that's it, that's it. And they find that still point where they can just melt, and the archaeological layers of our fascia can go into interruption mode from what happened yesterday to what happened 5 years ago to what happened 10 years ago. And when you set free the pattern there, it's connected every other place in your body. So it's not your imagination that your nose itches and it could be a coincidence if you're working with your foot. No, you can be working anywhere in your body and get messages elsewhere. It can be like little electric sparks. It can be like cranky squirminess. Once you tune in to your feelings and you start letting yourself feel your feelings, your body says, I got this. And it just takes off and leads you out. And afterwards, you feel like a 2-year-old who's had a temper tantrum.
Wow.
You feel so relaxed and so sleepy and mellow and in love with the world because we're literally getting rid of lactic acid, uric acid, and adrenaline, the chemistry of fear. And we're triggering a release of oxytocin, dopamine, and endorphin, chemistry of love.
It sounds awesome. Yeah. Are you teaching those just in California? Because I know last year, I think it was last year, you came out to Boulder and taught your class. Do you still go around sometimes and do that?
I'm so glad you asked that. It was 2 or 3 years ago when I went to Boulder. And it's interesting because I have this passion to share this as far and wide as I possibly can. And I feel like, just put me in, coach. Then there's the hurdle of figuring out what they call a platform. So how do you get your face in front of eyeballs
Mm-hmm.
and promote this thing? Because you and I know we have drunk the Kool-Aid
Mm-hmm.
that the minute somebody experiences this, they're sold. And what we're selling you is you. And they love the work. So it's one thing for me to be able to work individually with people and in workshops locally based on how loud I can shout to my community. And it's another thing for me to figure out how to use the words and explanation to have people far and wide say, I think I'll try that.
Mm-hmm.
And to build up enough interest and momentum, because girl, I would go back to Boulder, I would go to Dallas, I'd go to Canada, I don't care. I would love to just lecture and teach around the world. So I don't have any plans to travel,
Yeah.
but if I could figure out that formula, I'd be gone.
You figure out that formula, and I'll be with you.
I know, you
I know
know.
it's how do I get people? Because yeah, like you said, once you've experienced myofascial release, like that's why I'm so passionate about it. You know, it helped change my life, much like you are describing with your own. And so I want to tell everybody about it. But you know, like I still don't feel like I'm doing it in a way where people can hear what I'm saying, or they're not ready. I don't know what it is, but you know, we'll keep working, we'll keep educating, and you know, I know you're reaching people obviously because you have a thriving practice, and you know, I'm
And the
the
book.
people here. Yeah, in the book, yeah, that definitely helps because, in fact, I have this. I want to say this for anybody local. I keep one of these in my office because I want to be able to let people, you know, borrow it out, lend it out, so they can read it. Because you know, I can't possibly predict what in this book is going to really stick with somebody. What sticks to for me is completely different than what, you know, other people are going to get out of it because I don't have the same experience. We all don't have the same experiences in life. So yeah, the book is really good tool. You did a fantastic job. It's full of humor. I mean, I'm in there and I'm seriously times laughing out loud. And then I have it all earmarked, you know, like stuff that stuck out to me. So yeah. All right. You did a
I
fantastic
feel
job.
like Chicken Little sometimes. Like I'm running around screaming, the fascia's falling, the
Uh-huh.
fascia's falling.
Well, if we get enough of us talking about it, then people will pay attention, I think. So,
Yes, persistence.
yep. Well, I think we're kind of at our time limit. Was there anything you wanted to add?
Oh, there's probably a lot that I would love to add, but just this experience of getting in there, as many therapists who have taken a John Barnes training will ask, how do I get started? I don't know the answer to that, but do it and keep doing it. Let go of the fear that you'll lose clients
Mm-hmm.
who are coming to you for regular massage. Um, I had that fear too. Charge what you know you need to earn to make a living. Value yourself that way. Let go of the fear that people won't think it's worth it. And what happens is you begin to set yourself at a vibrational frequency that doesn't match people who only want Swedish and don't want myofascial release or can't afford to receive the treatments. You become a vibrational match for incredible people who are looking for transformational healing and are more than willing to not only pay you what you ask for, but tip you as well. And there is no shame at all in us making a good living at spreading this miraculous work
Mm-hmm.
and maybe even becoming the shift of the paradigm
Mm-hmm.
that our healthcare system needs toward what works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It truly is a shift. And I see it. It's great. All right. Well, thank you for those parting words, and thank you for coming on today. I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot, and hopefully the viewers did. Before we actually sign off, does anybody have any questions that they want to ask Ronelle? And we'll get that answered.
And while we wait to see if that's true, do you have any questions for me?
Um, no, I guess my biggest struggle as a therapist anyway, sometimes is the dialogue, what to say. And so I tend to err on the side of, I give information because again, I don't know what someone's going to take. I keep John's articles, I share that, and I'm getting better at dialoguing. But if you can say anything about that, that would be great. Like what helps people that are lying on the table, to be able to let go.
Well, that's a great question, and I think that it distinguishes my genius and why I wrote the book, because I learned how to do myofascial release, but it didn't learn how to talk myofascial release
Mm-hmm.
so that clients could experience it and get where I needed them to go, short of showing them how. Like, okay, here's how you unwind.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can't do that. And so I have found the words, and like I said, I have a spiel, and I have created another video, which is in the editing process, specifically for myofascial release therapists who want me to talk myofascial so
Right.
their clients get it.
Yeah.
And if that's helpful to other therapists, fantastic. Also, if other therapists want to sell my book in their office, you can contact me on my Facebook page at Ronelle Wood, or Touching Light is another Facebook page I have. And I can send you books inexpensively, and then you can sell it for the price that they charge on Amazon and earn a little extra, knowing that you are sharing something incredibly wonderful with your clients. If somebody has read my book and they come to you for myofascial release, they are on a quantum trajectory
Mm-hmm.
than if they hadn't read it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my purpose in writing it. And bless Gay Hendricks, a client of mine who's a great writer, for telling me, you need to write this book, and if you don't, I'll be very mad at you.
Well, I'm glad he poked you until you actually wrote it. It's fantastic. I need to reread it again. I started on it before our interview, and I need to just continue on. But it is a really, really good read. I think information is powerful and helps all of us. And us therapists can help the next people along, and just kind of make that little domino effect, so we can help change the world, really. So.
Yeah, and I hope that I can inspire all of those of us who are doing it when we run into obstacles and we find hurdles and we feel like we're all alone out there, to know that not only are you not alone, but you are doing the most wonderful work on the planet right now, I think.
I agree, but I'm a little biased. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on this morning, and I don't think we had any other questions, so we'll sign off and enjoy the rest of your day.
I will, you too.
All
Mwah.
right. Bye bye.
Bye.